Hello and welcome back to the 10th episode of the SaintsPrime podcast. It's with me, Ollie.
Harry.
Mikey.
Awesome. Right. As usual, jump into questions.
Straight away, who will be our top goal scorer next season? From Southampton News Now, one of our big fans.
Top goal scorer?
Shane Long.
No, never happening. Go on.
Danny Ings.
Che Adams.
Yeah, Danny Ings.
Well, Danny, if you can say fit, actually. So like, if Danny Ings stay fit, then he can.
Well, I don't think that's in the question.
So
I think it's just who's going to be the top goal scorer.
Because Charlie Austin wasn't fit a couple of
Yeah, I
years
know,
ago.
but
you can say to get
Danny
him
Ings has
somewhere.
potential to be top goal scorer.
If
If he
it's
doesn't
not
get injured.
potential to be top goal scorer, who
Who will score
Yeah,
the
he will.
most
Yeah,
goals?
who will be the
Danny
most-
Ings. I'm just going with
Danny Ings.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think Che Adams.
Yeah, I would be boring and say Che Adams.
Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale. Surprisingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's that. Right. Next question.
Dan Hursit, 96. Do you think it's nonsense about Van Dijk not being dribble past in the entirety of the last season? Do you think the stats
It wouldn't
lie?
surprise me if it was complete nonsense. You know,
Well,
if he wasn't dribbled past, he definitely got run
I've seen a video of a compilation of him being dribbled past.
Yeah.
Now, it depends what you define dribbling past as, because if it's just the action of being dribbled past, then it probably has happened a couple times. But successful completions of passes dribbling round him that actually are successful and provide an attacking thing, I think it's probably actually true. But I think it's the way that you word it, isn't it?
past. It depends what you say about a completed dribble.
Mm.
Does it end with a pass or a shot or something like that? Does the shot have to be on target? Does the pass have to be accurate?
Because there's ones where they've gone round him but then just lost their footing afterwards.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, that's because he was putting pressure on, or you could just say it's a lack of composure.
Yeah.
But it's probably, I think it's probably true. I think it's probably true.
Yeah.
I saw that Balassi did actually get past him and dribble afterwards, but I think that's in the cup or something. So I think that's the only real exception.
I
But
just think
go on.
Van Dijk's season, like, it was a good season, but there's so many stats like Vidic and Ferdinand had so better seasons than in the past. It just where no one else has been that good this year. That it's only him and Messi who have been said, oh, these are the best two players this year. Whereas he hasn't really been. He's been obviously been good, but not as good as he's been made out to be.
There aren't as many standout centre backs at the moment than as there was when you had Ferdinand, Vidic, Terry. You know, you had a long list of centre backs who were incredible. So
Now
you got Van Dijk, and then
Vestergaard,
who would you say was below Van Dijk though? Like as a standout centre back, who would you want in the entire Premier League to play next to Van Dijk?
Laporte.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's real world class player.
But again, he's not had the attention that Van Dijk's had, but
because
maybe
he's
that's
in the
because he
squad
plays for
that's
Liverpool. Laporte plays for City,
And it's almost like people kind of expect for Man City players to be outstanding just because the amount of money they've spent.
Yeah.
You know, personal performances almost don't matter for Man City, apart from Sterling because he's the English, role model.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because they've spent a lot of money on him and he's finally playing really well, people are just like, oh, well, that's expected.
Yeah, but Liverpool spent more money on Van Dijk than Laporte.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's just
but
because
they don't spend that much money regularly.
No, and you kind of think there's been like Mangala and other players like that they've signed Otamendi that are meant to be that big amazing player that haven't actually worked.
Yeah.
So once it has actually worked, it kind of goes.
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh on Otamendi because he got on the team the year, not this year, but last year. But
and he's won the league.
Liverpool.
Yeah. But I'm
it's
saying
not
like he
quite
hasn't
like
been.
Mangala, who
It
was £32 million and
didn't do
gone
anything.
to nowhere.
Yeah, I think with Van Dijk, it's because he definitely just transforms that Liverpool defence. When he's next to Matip or Gomez, it's not quite as good of a partnership as Laporte and someone, because Laporte's got a lot of good options and Liverpool kept the most clean sheets. So I guess it's fair enough to say it's the best centre back.
Go on.
Dan Hurst at 96. If you play FIFA Ultimate Team, who's your favourite player to build a squad around? Just have one name as we go around the table. Mikey.
Alejandro Gomez.
I'm just a career mode expert, so I can't comment on that.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Rashford. I really like Rashford.
Decent. Louis Dorguzzi. Who's the next signing you want? What positions would you want as well? I know we've covered this a lot, so we're not going to go this position. But after the Preston game, defence. It didn't get torn apart because we only conceded one.
Yeah, that was a good goal we conceded.
Looking at our centre-backs, and we've talked to centre-backs a lot of the time, after the performance of them that game, would you say that we do need a new centre back, or is it just about match sharpness?
Vestergaard wasn't playing in the game, so that wasn't our starting three.
Yeah.
I'd say our starting three is Bednarek, Vestergaard, Yoshida.
Yeah.
So we had Stevens and Hoyt in there who would not be starting in the usual
So
game.
is Hoyt made an error leading to the goals where he leaned too much into the tackle and then went around him.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, you'd hope, we're all very positive about our centre-backs, but you have to kind of look at it and think, they've had their opportunity now, they've had all their bad stuff out the window, clean slate, and it's still the same mistakes being made. It's kind of do or die for them now. Do they make an impression and actually set a new standard for themselves, or are they going to slip into their old tricks and we might have to try and look at replacements?
There's also the fact that if we do sign another centre-back, like when Wesley Hoyt came in, he was an exciting young talent from Italy, done really well, and tried to slot into a Premier League team. It's the same as Vestergaard, another quite young centre-back, promising centre-back, and arguably he's fitted into that system as well. So we do not always have a guarantee of, if we do spend 25 million on a centre-back, it could just be another Wesley Hoyt in our fans' eyes. Like it doesn't matter the amount of money that we spend, it has to be on the quality centre-back. I just don't want us to waste money on players that we already have.
I think we're not making any signings until we sell other players as well. That's been the case like the Che Adams situation. We didn't sign for so long because we didn't have the funds until we sold Matt Target. So I think it's been, I've passed it in we left quite late till we sign any players, and we'll be able to panic, not by like a deadline day signing, because we'll get Lamina out finally, and Charlie Austin will hopefully go to Newcastle, and we can't just quickly get someone in last minute.
So we've got any more questions?
No, apart from that, Southampton fans news now, so they enjoy the podcast. So that's all good and well. What are we going to start with then? Transfers.
Yeah.
So a couple things. Obviously, the most recent one, Classie's now left officially. Permanent transfer.
Predictions.
It's one that we saw coming. He didn't have a place in the dressing room. Sort of.
Did you actually see how it came about though? It seemed like we paid to terminate his contract in order for him to move.
It's that like mutual termination sort of. We're not going to pay the entirety of his contract, we'll give him a lump sum sort of thing, which is interesting. Gets his wage off the books as well.
Surely could have sold him for a bit, but I suppose it also comes back to the end of the day. I was selling him enough to go get his contract. It's a tough one.
I think they basically said, we don't want to pay him another year of wages, so we'll just we'll terminate it on mutual agreement. He can move straight to another club.
You probably made an agreement with the team AZ before then.
Yeah, and then you probably find that we gave him a lump sum to go, and then that's kind of cutting our losses in case nothing comes next year.
How much did we sign him for though?
It wasn't too much.
Like 6.5.
Yeah, it wasn't a couple figures.
Obviously a lot of money, but
but it's one of those ones that we've taken the punt on. It doesn't work, but for every Classy there'll be a Bednarek.
But you gotta say that Classy, he arguably did work. It just didn't
he didn't suit.
We had too many midfielders at the time. We had Wanyama. Did we have Wanyama?
He came in the season after.
This was a Koeman player, wasn't
it? He went after Schneiderlin left. I think he was supposed to be the replacement for Schneiderlin.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure.
Who left first? Wanyama or Schneiderlin?
Schneiderlin left first.
Because you got to think Schneiderlin went to Man United. Then Pochettino was
Wanyama's
prodigy, and then once Wanyama, Pochettino went, then Wanyama went pretty much, didn't he? Yeah. Right. Okay. So is that everything on transfers?
Wesley Hoyt as well, but that's not very good sources on that. Him going to AC Milan, but
Tim is rumour.
Yeah, it's not really got much fuel to it, so I wouldn't expect that to happen.
One thing I'd like to mention, Boufal's now training with Saints in Ireland.
Yeah, that's good to see.
Possibility that he could try and fight for his place.
How long do you think it will last at the training camp of high intensity?
Not long, but I hope he gives the best shot. He just played a tournament as well, not even playing much, but he was at a tournament. I just back him quite a lot. I just want him to get him a chance.
Well, there is Zhizhempo in the training squad at all.
That's true actually.
He's been playing his away still. I can follow on Instagram. It's look at stories. He's posting some random stuff.
Because it's just interesting that Bouffal's back.
And they went further in the competition.
But Mali went further than Morocco.
Yeah, I swear they finished in the same.
I thought they both got knocked out.
Yeah, but Bouffal didn't really play, did he?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Was a key.
Yeah, they went the same length, but Dejempo, and also Mali played the day after Morocco went out, so maybe tomorrow, but I'd expect it in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, okay.
They all get their little from the sports scientists. They all get their little how many days are they supposed to be off for? How long will their holiday be? Stuff like that. So each player will come back at their own individual time.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why probably Dejempo's out for longer, because he's played for longer.
Is he the only one left now that hasn't come back?
I think so.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone. Yeah,
there's no injuries or anything.
Don't think so. No.
Wow.
I think Obafemi's recovered from his hamstring injury, isn't he?
He played against Preston.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. All right. Good so. Right.
What's next?
Transfer's done. Fantasy football.
Yeah.
Should we mention that quickly?
Yeah, we'll mention that quickly. We've got a new fantasy football league. Jamie, what's the code? Because I put it up. I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry.
What's
the code? Put on the spot there.
Drum roll.
It's the official fantasy football, so it's not it's not like the Sun or Sky Sports. It is the actual fantasy football.
When you type it in, it'll basically
it's the first one, the actual Premier League one.
Yeah.
The code is
here we go
36YYGE.
And then that's I don't really know much, but is this a classic league? Is it just
it's a classic league.
Yeah.
Every week we'll talk about it when the season goes on. If you're top of the league, we'll talk about your team, your name, and all that sort of stuff as well.
I think it'd just be good to talk about fantasy football.
Shout out to Max Slem and Southampton something 01 for joining the league already.
Until I die.
I'm an idiot.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see fantasy football. Is there anyone that caught your eye for fantasy football still?
Prices are alright. Ben Foster was my first pick. Watford.
Nice and adventurous.
Ben Foster. They've done well.
I didn't the team last year, didn't you?
No, I don't trust new transfers in because I don't know if they're going to start or not. Saying that, I did put Chad.
Yeah, $6 million up front for me.
That's the one.
I'm yet to do my team as my account's corrupt, so I'm kind of
corrupt.
But
I can't log in for some reason.
It's quite interesting. A lot of people are starting to put 5 at the back for their formation.
I did that in the last year.
Because what was it? The way I've normally done it, I've normally done 3 defenders, either 5 midfielders or 2 strikers, or 3 strikers. I've always really kind of missed the defenders, but it seems like, especially with all the attacking wingers, I mean, people are doubling up on Liverpool defenders. Putting 5, so they're doing like 2 City, 2 Liverpool, and a cheap one, and putting 5 at the back, and then just putting like 3 midfielders, doing like Salah and a cheap one. But one player I do like, Zaha, who's listed. He's listed, even if he doesn't go, he's listed as a midfielder. He's got a really good run of fixtures, and he's only 7 million. So, want to keep your eye maybe?
Yeah, so I did. Lewis Dunk was one of my first ones as well. 4.5 million. He might go to Leicester.
See, one of the things I do as well, I just put in 3 cheap players for my bench that just kind of keep it cheap. So one of those was Wan-Bissaka last year, because I think he was only about 4 million at the start of the game. And I basically just put him in because he was really cheap. And I kept him for the whole season. He's the only player I kept for the whole season because he was actually really good.
Mars Max Aarons from Norwich,
fullback,
because I think he'll have a really good year, even if Norwich don't. He'll have a really good year, and he's 4.5 million.
Should we do tips? What's your main tip? What's the main thing that you look for?
Don't go for me for tips. My fantasy football interest probably lasts a maximum of 10 weeks, and then it'll just be.
I actually long it out. We had a mini league, and I actually won it because I actually kept on.
I tried. I'm just not very good.
I kind of. So with Mikey, because the last 10 weeks, or roughly, and kind of, I see that I'm not very good at it. It happens every year.
You got to stick with it.
Yeah,
stick with it.
And I end up coming second bottom. Or I'll try my best.
One thing I'd say is follow Fantasy Football on Twitter, because they've got the goals and the assists for every goal that goes in, and it gives you just like notifications for like the deadlines. So like Friday kickoff, it sounds, it'll be like kick off now kind of thing. Because the amount of times I got caught out with Friday night kickoffs, like we were playing football or something, and realised, oh god, the actual deadlines come through.
Well, the first kick off this season on a Friday, so that's true.
Remember it for them.
Keep it away.
Anything else? Anyone got any other tips or thoughts? No?
Wait till a couple of days.
Yes, I think as well. You have got to kind of wait to see what's going to happen because you think if Zaha does go to Arsenal, then he might be a much more interesting or less interesting choice than if he is at Crystal Palace. Because you kind of think at Crystal Palace he would be built around him, wouldn't it, if he stayed? Whereas at Arsenal, he may not go straight into that first team squad.
Yeah,
sort of makes sense.
Also, Kane's down $1 million, which I thought was quite interesting. I think he's only 11.5, and he's got a decent run of fixtures. He's 11 million.
He went down because of his injury at the end of last year, so he didn't get as big a score.
Aston Villa, Man City, Newcastle, and then Arsenal. But then he's got Spurs, Leicester, us, Brighton, Watford. That's a pretty easy run to the season. I
know that it didn't happen last year, but Harry Kane never scores in August.
That's true. Wait, didn't he break that at the end?
He broke it last year.
Yeah,
that's why I said it didn't happen last year.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, sorry. All right, but yeah, maybe it's one to look at then.
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I do like fantasy football.
Yeah. Good.
Oh dear. What else can we talk about? The friendlies that happened. There's been one that just finished for us, but it'll be a few days. But we start with Preston. We go chronological ones.
If you want to go chronological, you go Brentford, don't you? The behind.
Well, okay. Should we sum that up? 3-0 win.
Yeah.
What happened in the Brentford game?
Who
scored? What was the score? All that.
It was a 90-minute game.
So
just behind closed door. And, we won.
No.
So basically just a closed door game.
Ryan Bertrand played. That's all I know.
Southampton says nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Players. Preston then. We'll go Preston. The fixture we do know stuff about. What was your sort of immediate reaction to that after Dunning's good couple goals?
First goal,
high class.
Enjoyed the pressing.
Yeah, the pressing was high, which was good.
That was nice.
Our wing backs almost came into strikers at some point, which I thought it was really interesting to see that they would come in. It was either overlaps, and if not, they were almost moving inside and going down the middle.
It was almost like the opposite of the end of last season, where you had like Nathan Redmond and Josh Sims were cutting inside from their flanks.
Yeah,
they were the ones going wide, and then you had Bertrand and Valerie coming in and occupying the space.
Well, it'd be good if you can do either that or that way. If you can go, probably not best for the podcast, but you know what I mean. If you can go, sorry. Yeah, I know, but what I mean is that if you can cut in and you've got overlaps out wide, or you can switch it both ways, you've got even more options to pass.
Keeps the defence on their toes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just like the intensity that we played at as well. Normally pre-season games quite slow. We knocked it about quickly, and also one thing that I wanted to take from that game is the numbers that sort of changed. Wolf Smallbone was given the number 19 shirt, so that
15.
That was Bufal's number last season, so he might get a higher number.
Do you reckon those numbers do actually mean something?
Well, Bertrand got number 21.
I think that game everyone was the correct numbers, except but then the game they played today, the Chinese game, I was given random numbers.
Yeah, but what about Adams in the friendlies? Did he have a
10? Yeah, 10. So basically stealing.
Or Charlie Austin.
You think Austin's not going to get in this game, so he's just going to get he probably won't even be given a number.
Yeah.
In all fairness,
I hope Lamine gets given a number though, just in case his attitude changes.
Give it a number if you can't get shipped off. Who else? Obafemi got 20, so that's down 41 numbers. If his number was 61 there.
Wow.
So I haven't done
maths. It's like the Sharks. Number one.
Who is number one?
Gun name. Gun wasn't wearing number one.
Gunn's number 13. McCarthy was number 1. Force was 44.
Was he number 13?
Yeah, he was number 13.
I think so.
That's usually our keeper's number.
Was Angus Gunn number 28? I don't know.
I'm thinking Gunn 28.
Gunn was 28.
Yeah, I'm not wrong.
Oh dear. So with that game and then the game that's just finished, the Chinese pre-season tour. Is there anything we can really take off of that?
Fraser Forster,
Shane Long.
Fraser Forster clean sheets. That's
best finisher in the side.
What's the finish? The keeper was a little bit suspect.
Especially,
did you see the first goal?
Yeah.
First goal. I mean, the keeper just
I'm going to try and edit them onto this.
You're giving yourself a lot of work.
I know, I'm putting this in. You
might get a strike though.
Copyright, so that's my only issue.
Yeah, okay.
I'll look it up.
That's your excuse then. If we see it, no.
Then I can't leave
Okay.
it.
To be fair,
We could probably leave the link.
Yeah.
to be fair, the goalkeeper did save a penalty though. Che Adams had a penalty saves.
Oh.
So hopefully that doesn't hit his confidence at all.
Well,
That's
I
what
said-
I mean.
No,
He scored in the first minute of one game, the second minute of another game. I'll say this team's quite
I think we let him off.
fast starting.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Well, we've always been quite good at starting off. It's normally just the end of the games that have been our problem.
Yeah, good finishes from Shane Long.
Yeah.
Chadams.
Ian Valerie, Christoph Clara. Callum Slattery also had a goal disallowed.
Oh yeah, that was a cracking volley though, wasn't it?
Fantastic volley.
Was it Shane Long offside?
Probably, yeah.
I think it was. But it was. It's not much you could take about it because the game was more of a marketing stunt than anything else. Getting a couple of big names over there, and then 4-0 win against team 9th of the Chinese Super League out of 16. So
It's
not
team
that
of Musa Dembele.
yeah,
I learned that from an article I read.
Yeah, Saints marching.
Oh,
If you want to know. Thank you.
It's
Love
a
that
shame.
from
It's
you.
a shame.
Shows I read your article.
Love it.
For once.
You're one of few. You're one of few.
It really shows because when Shane's not on the bench, he's offside. He's got 2 parts of his
He
game.
scored though, Mike.
He
Don't
scored.
worry.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to get too down in the dumps about it. Right, so the quiz. We ready for another
I'm ready.
very high quality
I'm ready to get the
quiz?
most points.
So this one, higher or lower. We've done fancy football this week, so it's going to be a fancy football based quiz from the 2018-19 season. Higher or lower, I'm going to say a player name. You've got to say if this player got more or less points than the one previous.
How's it scored?
Huh?
How's it scored?
I mean, you get a point if you get it correct.
Oh wait, so it's all individual then?
Yeah,
Or
just say, I go, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think?
Yeah.
Simple as. I feel like Bruce Forsyth doing the higher or
I
lower.
hope you don't. Right, go on then.
Right, the first player, Mai Yoshida. Did he get more points than Jack Stevens? Yes or no? I'm looking around the room. I'm thinking.
I think you played more.
Did he
But
might
you
have
got to
more,
think it's
but
not
did he get
just
more points?
playing, it's
Yeah,
clean sheet
goals
bonus,
scored.
it's goal scored.
Yoshida played more towards the end of the season.
To be fair, correlation when Jack Stevens played, we conceded more.
Yeah,
But
I'll go.
Stevens played quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'll
And
go
he
Yoshida
scored goals
higher.
as well.
Yoshida higher.
Lower.
Lower.
Because Jack Stevens
Jack
scored a few
Stevens
goals.
Yeah, Yoshida 44 points. Jack Stevens 47.
Yeah.
So you both got a
One
point.
point
You
here.
don't have any at the moment. It could
That
all
card
change.
of
Jamie,
down.
Mikey, Ollie. So you got one.
Yeah.
No surprise, Ollie's-
Jack Stevens 47 points. Did Mario Lamina get more or less than Jack Stevens last season?
Straight away, less. even think about that.
Well, Lamina played less, but he did get a couple of goals, didn't he?
He got 2. He's got 1 against Newcastle.
Yeah.
As a belter.
How many games roughly did he play?
The thing is, when Lamine did play, he's playing midfield, and I think midfielders don't get that much points fancy.
No, they don't unless they get
I
goals.
don't know why I'm helping you out here, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, I'll say less.
Lower, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, lower. I already said lower anyway.
it's all incorrect.
Oh, really?
Wait, it's higher.
Mario Lamina got 50. Jack Stevens
Oh, it's
got
quite close to be fair then.
47. So it's quite close. Next one, Charlie Austin. Did he get more or less than Mario?
And so
Lamina?
Charlie Austin start the season. It's quite good form.
Yeah, he got a couple of goals.
Headers. So I'm going to go for. Oh yeah.
That noise made me think
Oh,
I was going to
yeah.
go higher.
I want to go lower.
Yeah, I'll go lower.
Charlie Austin got 46%. 46? Sorry, you got 46, Lamina got 50.
Oh, right.
So you got lower.
You said that's so weird.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, Lamina and Austin are both selected less this year than Sam Gallagher, who doesn't even play for us at the moment. Interesting little fact there.
Wait, for this season?
This
Wait,
season.
so people pick.
More people, according to Fantasy Football at the moment, 0.5% of people pick Gallagher, whereas
That's probably just because he's pretty cheap, though.
Yeah,
let's be
I know, but
honest.
still.
Okay.
Still.
Right, so
Anyway.
Damn.
I could still
Mikey's
put most
in
of
the league
them.
with 2.
yeah, Mikey's got 2. Me and Jamie got 1.
So we said Charlie Austin with 46. Did Romeu get more or less?
Less.
Less.
Higher.
He got about 13 yellow cards, didn't he?
He actually got more.
Oh,
Come on.
It must be because the goal he scored against Fulham. He must have got
How did he
like
get?
7 points. Romeo got 55 compared to Austin's 46. So once again,
that's probably because he just played loads of games.
yeah, only got.
Like if you think if he played, 30 games and you get 2 points for 90 minutes, he's got 60 points.
Minus 1 so many times.
That's true. I just thought about that. Right. Okay. So Jamie's got 2. Mike's got 2. I'm still on 1.
So
How many questions left?
Like 5.
Okay.
Stuart Armstrong's next. So you get more or less than Ollie or
So he didn't play much. He got 2 goals in one game against Fulham.
Scored against United as well.
Eh?
Yeah.
So that's already 15 points.
At home.
Probably got a few assists as
A
well.
couple of assists. That's
I
3
think
points.
he got because Target the most assists last season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's underneath.
He would have only got 2. Like
2.
his target got
4.
Well, you
4
think that's
assists, I think.
6 plus 50, so we're already 20. So he played how many times?
But he only played half the season
His-
because he got injured and then
blocking
didn't really
outs
play at the end.
Higher.
Coming
You-
off.
you think
bench or
higher?
something
I've locked
like
it in.
that.
You think it's higher? What is?
Did you say higher than Mikey?
Wait, so what we going higher or low against?
Ollie May, who got 55.
I've gone higher. Because then
I'll
he
go
did play
lower.
minutes.
Mike thinks lower.
I reckon lower just because of minutes.
Romeo got 55. Stuart Armstrong got 20 more. He got 75.
Nice.
Oh, it's close.
Jeez.
Joe snatches the
why
point
do I
in that
trust
round.
Why do you look at me?
I don't know. You're just quite convincing.
So we got Stuart Armstrong
And I'm
next.
not.
And I got the best record of the quizzes.
Alex
Right,
McCarthy is next. Did Alex McCarthy get more or less than Stuart Armstrong?
With
So you got-
goalkeepers, the only way that they actually get
Less.
Is saves or clean sheets.
Locked it in.
Unless
And
you're
we
in
notoriously don't have many.
yeah,
Locked it in.
Less.
Locked in. Less.
less. It'll be,
Yeah,
it'll be
less.
less than 75, won't it?
It was 73. So you're right.
Oh,
but only by
close,
2
really.
points. Only by 2
73.
points. If he played one more game, he would have got more. Or just the same.
Yeah, to be fair, minutes wise, he probably did.
So he'll probably get,
Mm.
I think he gets like 2 every game, and then he'll get
Like 1 or
another
2.
4 or 5.
Isn't it
from
like
the
if
bench.
he makes 4 saves, you get
Yeah.
like a point or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
we've got a lot of saves.
McCarthy got 73. Hoiberg, how many did he get? Did he get more or less than Alex
More.
McCarthy?
More.
You got
100%. Got a few goals.
You got more.
Assists. Played a lot. So that's a lot of minutes. That's 2 points per 90.
I don't know.
Well, because he played. Think about that. Well, he played a lot more.
Yeah, but he got red cards. He got 2 red cards.
Oh wow.
He probably picked up a
How
couple of
many?
those.
Joint most in the league.
Yeah.
Big stat there.
I'm still sticking with higher.
How
I
many
love
goals?
him.
How many goals did he get? I'll tell you what. I've got to get points. I'll go lower.
You're incorrect once again.
I just thought I've got to do it. Haven't I? I've got to do
I
it.
saw Hoiberg, didn't you get something like 80 something?
He got 90, so yeah, almost. So that's
That's
quite
the thing.
a
I'm
few
so
more
far
points.
behind anyway. I had to go it just to try and get
Hey,
some points.
what's it saying there?
Goal tag. So I've
Top
got.
Look at the
So
screen.
I've got 2. Mikey's got 3, I think. No, 4. 4 and James
Jam's
got
got
1, 2, 5.
5.
So that's 5, 4, and 2.
How many questions do you have left?
3.
3. Okay.
Ooh.
I can only draw.
We'll do double points on the last one.
Oh,
Oh,
yes!
no! It'll just be
I'm
all
happy
the
about
amount
this.
of points that Ollie's got to have to try and win, and then it'll be oh,
Exactly.
no, Ollie wins the
That's
quiz.
the point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hoiberg got 90. Ward-Prowse, did he get more or less
More.
than Hoiberg?
More, got more goals and similar amount of playtime.
Yeah, alright, I'll go more.
You're right, but he only got 4 more points, so it's not
It's still more.
drastic.
Still more.
So
It's still
he's
more.
not-
It's like, oh no, he's got 1 more point. No, he's still got more.
He's still got more.
It's still more.
Yeah. Right, let's go straight on. James Ward-Prowse got 94. How many did Danny Ings get?
Wait, we have to guess the amount.
No, I mean, did he get more or less
Less.
than
100%.
James Ward-Prowse?
I'm looking now already. Less.
He thinks less.
Not going to explain why. 'cause
Penultimate
they'll
player.
listen.
Bit of
Less,
alliteration
Less,
for
yeah,
him.
because just game
Sick
time.
of them all
Yeah.
copying me.
They're all less. Yeah, he got less. 94 points for Ward-Prowse, 90 for Danny.
Oh, that's close actually. I thought it was
Ings.
quite a lot less.
Yeah.
Because I thought of injury
Just because
wise.
of goals and stuff,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. Right, final player. What's the scores on the doors at the moment? Who can win?
I'm one
so
behind
we've got
Jamie.
4, 6.
So, Mikey, what are you going to do?
7.
Well, I have to go to the opposite one that you do.
Actually, I just do whatever you choose.
Yeah, that's why I'm going first.
Right, Danny Ings got 90 points. How many did Shane Long?
Oh,
I like how you left that till last.
I'm not telling until Mikey does.
Well, this is going to be a very long quiz.
Have you got a tie break just in case?
I can just think.
They've got the
yeah,
same
I've got one.
Yeah, okay.
I've got one.
I mean, Jamie has to go first because then it's not.
Okay, I'll go first. Give me a minute to think.
Wait, who's it high or low against?
Was
Ings and Long.
Ings versus Shane.
Was Shane Long's goal against Peter Schmeichel this season?
Peter Schmeichel? That's a long time
Pastor
ago.
Schmeichel, sorry.
Yeah. It was Leicester. I don't know how that
And
works.
he got an assist that game because he won a penalty.
He did.
Assists don't count as penalties, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, they
That's
do
right.
now.
I fancy football, don't you?
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
so
maybe
who
if
was
you
before
win
then?
it,
Was
think
it Danny
you
Ings
win a
before
penalty,
this
you
then?
get
Danny Ings got 19.
Oh,
Did
it's
Shane Long
19.
get more or less?
The thing is, I want to
Danny's
go
season.
less because I think Danny got more goals than him. But playing time wise, Shane Long played a lot more than Danny Ings because of injury.
But if you've got
But
a goal,
Shane Long really played
if you
490
played
minutes.
a game and a goal, you got 6
Mm.
points. You'd have to play 3 games just to equal that.
Yeah, but you did get a lot of appearances off the bench, especially under Hughes as well, did Long.
Yeah. That's the thing. I kind of think of our season as like 2
Okay.
seasons. I don't really picture them together.
Yeah.
It's,
I always
it's quite
forget
difficult.
Hughes was the start, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
The
I might.
tension is
Also, weird to
building.
think that Mourinho was the manager of United at the start of the season as
Yeah,
well.
let's stop reminiscing. Give us too much sense.
He's trying to get time to think.
Less.
He thinks less.
I think I know it's less, but I say more.
And Ollie, just for fun,
Shit.
to see what happens, really. Sure.
Yeah, probably less.
Yeah, Shane Long didn't get anywhere.
Yes.
He got 66 points.
Yeah.
But
I'm the champion once again.
Shane Long is the most selected player so far for Science in Fantasy Football, 7.2%.
It's because he's really cheap again.
The 14th most selected
points, mate.
striker.
So I
Double
got.
points last round. Double points.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What? So 2 0. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I came. Yeah.
Oh, he did have a
Yeah.
comeback.
You like?
I hate double points.
Do you want a
What's the
tie
point
break
in this?
between second and third?
No, I don't
Okey-dokey.
want nothing. No,
No,
what's
come
the
on.
point? What's the point?
Because I want to see who came second and third.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Okie
Go through it, I
dokie.
don't-
Did Shane Long get more goals? Get more points than Ryan Bertrand? Did he get more points
No.
than Ryan Bertrand?
Look this up, Tiz.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. But
I thought it was going to
double
be
check.
like an actual number, like closest to or something. Because I could just say no again. We could go forever.
Yeah, it's that way.
Yeah, but that's boring. you
So
gotta
I
say
have
no.
to say yes.
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah,
Bertrand
basically.
got more. That's
Yeah.
not fair.
I think it's cool. I think it is, yes.
Well, that's why.
He doesn't
Jamie.
answer. He doesn't answer, but I think it is higher. Personally, he paid more.
Yeah, but he didn't do as much. He didn't
Yeah,
get as
but
many
clean
assists.
sheets.
He didn't get any goals.
Clean sheets wasn't the season.
Well, he didn't get many clean sheets, did we?
It wasn't the season.
Well, he got a couple, but not.
Exactly. I think he paid a lot, and I'm pretty sure Bertrand did score. Get a few, maybe.
He got
2
one. I think he got
No,
one
I
goal.
said Shane Long's got less points than Bertrand, didn't I?
Yeah, you see, he's got less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does have less. So what happens there then, Tis?
I think he's got higher. I think he's got
Well,
more.
Yeah, but
Jamie
you're not
loses and
playing.
then we win.
Yeah.
I think that's the simple way of doing it.
No, I won.
Let's play rock.
So
paper,
Ollie,
scissors.
Ollie's locked in higher because Mikey.
No, I didn't. I didn't lock in higher.
Well, okay, Tiz, reveal the answer.
Bertrand got less.
Oh,
than
Mikey,
Bertrand.
second.
So is there
Got
any
less than
solution to that
Bertrand.
then?
Bertrand got less than Shane Long.
Oh.
Unlucky.
Is that a
Unlucky, Ollie.
tiebreaker? Very indecisive tiebreaker.
Oh dear.
Okay, then guess how many points Ryan Bertrand got to the nearest number.
That's better. Okay.
Second and third, then.
You put me on the spot here.
Look up, Tiz.
I'm pretty sure I know.
74.
24.
You got less than
There
Shane
you go.
Long.
He's a 74.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 74.
No, you said that Shane Long's got less than
60.
Ryan Bertrand,
Yeah.
didn't you?
No, Bertrand's got less than Shane Long.
He's locked in 74.
I'm so confused. So we both got that one wrong.
No, we both got it right.
He hasn't
I'm
answered
so
yet.
confused what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
a stupid
Oh my God, Can we
tiebreaker.
just stop this?
No, because Ollie wanted second and third.
Wait, so Bertrand probably played what, 30 games maybe? Or did he get injured?
I've got it down.
Yeah, he got injured.
So
52. That's what I'll go for.
I've already locked in 70 something. Mate.
Oh, I don't care. Ollie can win. I don't mind.
No, I'm
too
not winning.
tired
It's just to
to
see who comes second.
Oh yeah, so great. What's the point?
I'll probably say 49.
56 is his points total. You got 56 points.
So I still
and the
don't know
total
who
of the
wins.
season. You won because you got the closest if you went 52 and he went 49. So that's how mathematics works.
Brilliant.
Okay.
guys.
Right, okay, we'll wrap it up there then. Okay, so I've been Ollie.
I've been Harry.
Jamie, thanks for listening, guys.
Mikey.
It's not jam.
Okay, yeah, it's not jam.
Sorry, guys,
I've
that's me out. Throwing out.
Change it up.
Okay,
See
right,
if
so
people listening this long, comment down below if I said a different name.
they'll be writing that down, fanboys. So if you want to get in touch, Harry, how can they get in touch?
At SaintsPrime on Instagram. What's the Twitter again?
At SaintsPrime Pod.
There you go. It's just pod. Just pod.
Yeah.
Cool.
Questions. I put out an Instagram story on Monday or Wednesday, depending on when we record the podcast.
Apart from that, so like I say, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything else.
You
Pretty
name
much
it, we're
every podcast.
Every
platform.
podcast platform. If you want it, we're there. Yeah. It's got a set point. Okay, so we'll wrap it
Are
up.
you going to look at the camera at all?
No, I'm not. And we'll edit that out as well. Okay, so thanks for listening and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.